So many social workers I know think that in order to make more money, they've got to work longer hours and actually do less of the things that they enjoy. The only problem with that is that there are only so many hours in a day. So you end up working more hours and having less money. And frankly, that's not how it works. That's not how you create a life that you actually love and have more time and more freedom to do the things that bring you joy and to help more people in the way that you want. When I started this rich social work journey, I was determined to find out what it was that wealthy and successful people did that I wasn't doing. I actually identified that the only difference between the really super successful and wealthy and any one of us that isn't super successful and wealthy is how we use our time. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 areas where I've found that really successful people spend a lot of their focused time. And full disclosure, I am not perfect in this area at all. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this video, because I am once again working on leveling up how I use my time, but I am seeing wonderful results. So if you find yourself on a similar path and really want to figure out how to maximize your time so that you can do more of what you love, so that you can have more money and more wealth and more freedom, do me a favor, click that like button so that more people see this content. Here we go. Hi, welcome to Rich Social Worker. I'm Eva Ford, social worker, mindset mentor, and coach. And on this channel, we talk about all things money, mindset, and motivation to help you live your richest life. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing so that you can know every time I post new videos, which is every week. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you might have seen a video that I did, in fact, the first video that I did at the beginning of this year, where I talked about how productive I had been in 2019. I mean, I was walking every morning and I had my planner and I was really just getting things done. But I have to say, coronavirus kind of really shifted how I was managing my time. And I had a conversation last week that reminded me that bosses make boss moves with their time. And so I thought it was a really good conversation piece to have with you here on the channel, because how we manage our time really is so crucial to our success. It's worth noting that this is a process. And if you think that you're going to go from the routine that you have now just all of a sudden into a success routine where you're totally scheduled and you have everything lined up just like the Oprah Winfrey's and the Bill Gates of the world, you may be in for a little bit of a rude awakening. So I just want to preempt this conversation by letting you know it is a process. But if you implement the things that we're going to talk about in this video over time, and even it could be a short period of time, but over time you will reap rewards and you will see the benefits. Some of those benefits you actually may even see tomorrow morning if you start right now. And the first place that really successful and wealthy people start with their time, managing their time, is in the morning. And what they do in the morning, they all generally have a morning routine. Now you can look online. There are tons of resources and information and videos about the magic of having a morning routine. And while they may vary, all of them generally have something to do with the body, and so some sort of form of exercise, the mind, some sort of reading or journaling, and something to nourish the spirit, usually some type of prayer or meditation or yoga or something like that. And it's really interesting. Oh, and I have to include that generally they all start very early in the morning. But suffice it to say that your first 2.5 hours of the day are generally the most productive. But if you have children or a partner or a business that you're running and you get up straight away and start working on your business, that is not the best use of your time. Really successful and wealthy people use that first time in the morning to work on themselves, or to center themselves, or to get their minds right, or to get themselves primed for how the rest of the day goes. And so this is something that you want to look into too, because it can be super powerful for accomplishing not only short-term goals, but your longer term goals as well, and have a great, massive compound effect to your success. So I want to encourage you to look into some resources about how to best use those first hours in the day. There's the Miracle Morning, there's the 5 a.m. Club, there's so many things. And so look into that and come back in the comments and let me know which one you're going to try and what worked for you. Another way that really successful and wealthy people use their time is how they manage who they spend their time with. Now, Jim Rohn has a very famous quote. He says, "You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around." Now, I don't know about you, but when I first heard that, I got a little nervous because at the time, the 5 people that I was surrounding myself with or spending the most time with weren't really doing much new in their lives. They weren't really leveling up. And so it's really on you. Now, I understand if you have a household to run and you've got children, or you've got a partner, or if you are the head at your company and you've got people that you manage, I understand that it may be challenging to find within those groups people that are leveling up to where you want to be. But that just means that that's your job now, right? You need to find those people and those spaces where those people are, where you can be that 5th person and average up on your journey, right? As the old adage says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So you want to always be growing. And I don't mean this to the detriment of your self-care and resting. That's not what I mean. But I definitely mean you want to be intentionally putting yourself in spaces and surrounding yourself with people who are growth-minded, who are success-minded, and who are wealth-minded as well. All right? So the third thing that they do with their time is they manage what they're thinking about during the day. They spend time visualizing, they spend time goal setting, they spend time thinking about what it is that they want to accomplish and managing their mindset around what they want to accomplish and achieve. Okay, so it's really easy, especially when you're on an entrepreneurial path, to look around, see what other people are doing, and to feel discouraged. But if that's what happens when you look around and see other people, that just means don't do that. That's not good for you. Some people, they can look around, see what other people are doing, and feel motivated. But if you find that any activity that you're doing is pulling your mindset into a negative space, or into a space where there's self-doubt, or there's pity, or you're just not as productive and centered as you know that you need to be, where you're not feeling as worthy as you need to feel in order to accomplish your big dreams, then that's not where you need to be spending your time. You need to be spending your time on things that support your most beneficial mindset, support you being enough and more than enough to accomplish the goals that you want right here and right now. Finally, the thing that really wealthy and successful people do with their time is they spend their time creating. Now, if you are working a substantial job and like a 9 to 5, I know it may feel difficult to find the time to create your own thing, but that's exactly what wealthy and successful people do. They don't find the time, they actually schedule the time. They make scheduling time for their priorities, for, working on their dreams, working on their goals. They make that first, and then they fit in the work. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's say you've got a 24-hour day. You sleep 8 hours of that day. And then what you're going to do, you may put in that, okay, you have to work from 9 to 5, put in half hour for commute there and back, if that's what you have. But then the rest of that time, you've got time in the morning. Maybe you've got time at lunch. Maybe you've got time in the evening to work on your dream. And yeah, it may be a sacrifice initially and cost you some sleepless nights, or cost you some time that you might otherwise be doing something else. Anytime you say yes to your dream, you are ultimately going to be saying no to something else. But just keep in mind that it's only for a time, because as you build momentum, as you build systems, as you prioritize, as you automate, as you systematize and get things on autopilot and delegate these things, then you're going to build in that more time for yourself. And ultimately, you could likely be able to leave your job sooner than you imagine. But you've got to be deliberate and intentional about taking time to plan it out, taking time to delegate, taking time to automate the things in your life that are going to lead you to a better life. Some of the things that you could automate, if you're building a business, you could automate your social media posts. You could delegate research around the things that you are creating so that you can be more informed when you deliver them. You could systematize how you plan out your days and your week. So every Sunday you're working on your weekly plan, or at the end of every 3 months you're reviewing your quarter, right? So once you do that, just like really wealthy and successful people do, you're going to be able to find that you have more time. There's also several tools that you can use. I love to use things like Google Calendar, plus I love to use a physical calendar. There's a tool that I was introduced to recently called Toggl, and there are other tools like Toggl that are time trackers. So that could be something that you do right now, just to track what you're doing with your time and where all of your time is going. A lot of times we look and we say, oh, where did the time go? And we really don't know. So you may want to start tracking your time so that you can see where you've got gaps of time that you can fill. But these are absolutely 4 things that really wealthy and successful people have done and do now to manage their time, and they're things that you can implement as well. So what I want to do now is I want to hear from you in the comments. What are you going to be doing right now today? What can you do right now today to start to be more intentional around how you're using your time, and what is the goal that you're working towards? I cannot wait to hear about it in the comments below. I believe you can dream, be, do, or have anything you want, but it starts with your mindset, so make sure it's a rich one. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again next time.